Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Lyndon. Thank you so much for coming. And in this video, I want to share with you something that I share with my private saxophone clients, or saxophone students if you prefer. Every year at the start of the year, I give them this sheet for a self-assessment. And what this really does, what this is about, is just getting awareness and like doing a bit of a stock check about where you are with your saxophone journey. And it's a bunch of questions and the idea of this is to just think about and gain a higher amount of awareness of where you are at the moment. The idea being that if you can get a clearer idea of where you are, then you've got a better idea of where it is that you want to go and how you're likely to get there. So the analogy being that it's all very well having a map, but if you don't know where you are on the map, it's really hard to plot a journey from one point to another because you don't know where you are. So that's the idea of this, is just to heighten your awareness, and whatever the answers to the questions are is absolutely fine. It's just trying to locate you and give you a better awareness. Before we dive into that, I do want to say my thank yous. It is important to feedback to all the people who've sent me positive comments. I really appreciate it. And people that have bought me coffee and subscribed and sent me tips on PayPal. This has impact on my life. It really, really, really does. I'm so grateful to you, and it just makes a huge difference, particularly people supporting the channel, because these videos take a long time to make. It really, really, really do, and especially in editing. So, you know, I do really appreciate it because it's a lot of effort and I don't mind doing it, but when I get loads of positive feedback, it really does make it worthwhile. Let's have a look. So I've printed this out. I'm going to put a copy of this at the end of the video so that if you want to screenshot it, you can, and have a think about it and let me know what you think. So it says this time of year, well, any time of year is a good time. Pretend it's Christmas. This time of year is good for thinking about where you are with your sax journey and which areas of your development you'd like to work on. If you have ambitions with the sax, take stock now and see if they need updating or if you're on course to achieve them. The thing with ambitions is that we often start off with an ambition, and then as we get closer to that ambition, you might find that you need to refine it slightly, and that's okay. Maybe you just started off thinking, oh, I just want to be able to play a tune, any tune. And now that you can play one tune, it's time to update your ambitions. Now I want to be able to play 5 tunes or 10 tunes, or maybe your ambition was to play in a band or understand chord charts or be able to improvise. But whatever it is, make sure that your ambition on the sax is up to date. Also, sometimes what happens is that people start off with an ambition and then they achieve the ambition and they don't really recognize it. Yeah, I can play a tune on the sax now. Yeah, I can do Summertime, yeah, or whatever, right? You should celebrate it. If you set yourself an ambition, when you reach that ambition, make sure that you mark it with something. Get yourself a treat of some sort, reward yourself in some way. And that way, next time you set an ambition, your system will be much more set up to really go for it because you know that there's a reward at the end of it. So it's a very good thing to do. Some good questions to ask yourself are, do my basic skills support where I want to be, or could they be strengthened? Well, this is a bit of an open question, really. Could your basic skills be strengthened? I know mine could. You know, I could work more on everything, really. So your basic skills could always be strengthened. I think what I'm pointing out there is, do you know your major scales? Can you hit the chord tones? Do you know your Dorian minors? Do you have an awareness of chords? By the way, if you don't, it's okay, but that's what you need to be working on. Make sure that your core skills are things that you work on a daily basis in order to get growth on the sax, definitely. Do I know my major scales? Which is my strongest scale and which is my weakest? I can tell you mine is E flat. I don't know why, it doesn't flow. If you heard me play it, you'd probably say, well, that sounds okay. But I can tell you from an internal perspective that E flat, for some reason, on both my saxophones, alto and tenor, just feels a bit more lumpy. Other major scales feel nice and loose and fluid, and E flat feels a little bit more lumpy than the others. And I don't know why. It's just just probably because I haven't played it as much as the others. So guess what I need to practice? I need to work on E flat more. So have a look at your scales and do a stock check. Which are the strongest ones? Which are the weakest ones? By doing that, you get an awareness and you know what you're targeting. You're targeting your weaker scales. What about Dorian minors? Am I fluent in those too? Again, if you don't know what a Dorian minor is, that's absolutely fine. But I'm here to let you know that it's quite significant when you're going to play the saxophone, because major and minor scales, and this is a type of minor scale, come up all the time. So it'd be a really, really good thing for you to raise your awareness about Dorian minors. If you do already have some of your Dorian minors down, work on the ones that you don't have down would be a really, really good thing. And if you have all of your Dorian minors, could you play the chord tones of each one? Could you play them descending? Could you play them just from memory? Which is the strongest, which is the weakest? So there's always more to do with any of these things. Where am I with improvising? How can I develop my soloing skills? Well, improvising, in my opinion, is a long journey. You know, I personally have been playing for a really long time. I could absolutely improve my soloing skills. It's a never-ending journey. Again, the idea is to stimulate thought by asking this question. And how can I develop my soloing skills? Well, if you want to be able to solo and do really good improvisations on the sax, one thing is absolutely for sure. If you know your major scales, your minor scales, and the chord tones of those, that is going to help a lot. And if you don't know those, that's okay, but that's what you probably want to work on, because that is going to directly affect your soloing ability, I promise. Could I transcribe a song if I wanted to? So yesterday I was teaching all day, right? I had an 11, a 12:30, a 2, a 3:30, a 5, and a 6 o'clock and a 7 o'clock client here in my private studio in Bedford. And each one of those people wanted me to transcribe something for them, which I didn't mind doing. But what I really want for them and for you is to be able to listen to a song and be able to work out the melody, at least the melody. Nobody's expecting you to be able to work out a really complicated solo just by ear. That's going to take a lot of work. But just something like a melody, that would be a really good thing for you to be able to work out yourself. And the reason, again, that they're not able to do it is because, or they asked me to do it, is because they're not comfortable with their scales. They can't find the key that they're in. And even if they could, the scales that they've got, they're not very comfortable in that particular key, and that's why it's such a hard job for them. They probably could do it, but I can do it dead quick, and that's not because I'm clever or smart or even a brilliant saxophonist. It's just because I know my scales. I've learned them, and because of that I can work out what key I'm in, and most melodies follow the scales to an extent or another. So if you can't transcribe a song, that's okay. I've made a video about transcription, and you should have a look at it because it kind of explains step by step how to go about doing it. It's a really worthwhile thing to do, and I strongly recommend that you at least have a go at transcribing something. It's really empowering. How about playing with others in an open mic situation, jam session or band? Would I aspire to that? What about busking or gigging with backing tracks in public? What's my stand on that? So I've done other videos about performance in public of one sort or another. Whatever your stand is on it, let me tell you that nothing will focus your practice more than knowing that you have a gig coming up. It just won't. You'll never be more motivated than if you know that on Friday you're going to have to stand up and play in front of a bunch of people. So if you really want to hone your skills, get yourself in a situation where you're going to be playing in public, and that could be busking. I don't know if Americans call it busking, but just when you play on the street, you know, just for fun, and people come sometimes and throw money in your hat or whatever, in your case. That's a fantastic thing to do. That makes you so robust because it's actually quite an uncomfortable thing if you've never done it before. That's a really good thing. Open mics, jam sessions, find a band, all of those things are only going to be good for your playing. Is it going to feel comfortable? Probably not if you've never done it before, but there's a lot of benefit. There's so much benefit in there. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable is something that great athletes and people who do great things do. So it's just that's mind-bogglingly good for your practice to play in a live situation, and I'd strongly suggest that you do that. What this is doing is just getting you to ask the question, where's my stand on that? Would I do it or not? Have the conversation. Think about it. Whatever you decide, it's all good, but just have the conversation. Where are my music reading skills and where would I like them to be? Well, again, I can share my music reading skills are not fabulous. I try every day to do at least a few minutes, because when I'm reading music, I feel super uncomfortable for some reason. I'm okay at it, but I'm certainly not brilliant. And what I'm doing is that I'm trying to do a little bit of music reading, actually using tom play every single day to try and accustom myself to that uncomfortable situation for me. It's just that I've come from a different angle to a lot of people with music, where I've just kind of taught myself, and it's been a fabulous journey, but I didn't really learn to read music until very much later on. So where are your music reading skills? It's a fabulous thing to be able to do, to read music. I thoroughly recommend it. You know, is it easy? Not really. It's not, you know, and there's no end to it. You could, and you need to keep on top of it all the time. I know a fabulous reader, a guy called Richard Exel. He's a UK saxophonist. Spent a lot of time with him. He was helping me develop my reading skills, and he was saying that he's a fabulous reader, but he needs to keep on top of it. If he hasn't read any music for 3 months or 4 months, he needs to do it again to brush up his skills. That's normal. So it's a really good thing to do. I do recommend it. Do I understand chord charts? Well, again, that's a really big question, because I understand chord charts, but I still have to work quite hard and make sure that I understand everything that's going on, and sometimes pick up on there'll be something in there where I have to kind of go over it and remind myself. So where's your stand on chord charts? Do you understand them? And if you don't, that's absolutely fine. If you don't understand chord charts, so you're uncomfortable, I'd strongly recommend doing major and minor 2-5-1s for a start, and I've made videos about that, so go and have a look through the enormous amount of videos that I've made, and find the 2-5-1 tutorials, because they're fabulous. That's a really good start. But chord charts are essential. They really are, and they're so much fun. They're so empowering. So think about these aspects of your development and see if any resonate with you. And then I've said, you're not alone. I'm here to help you with all or any of these aspects of your journey as much as I can. Well, that is my heartfelt message to my private clients and students that come round. And that's also my heartfelt message to you. I want to help everybody that I can, as much as I possibly can, with the saxophone, and I will help you. If you send me an email, I will do my best. I will always do my best to help you within reason, and I really do want to do that. And I'm creating a website which we're hoping to release. It's now August 14th. We are hoping to launch in a few weeks, and that's going to have some loads and loads of free stuff, which you're very welcome to. As the year begins, I'll be taking stock with everyone to get clarity on how I can support you in the best possible way. Think about your ambitions, and then I've put at the bottom, one thing that you can do that will make the whole sax playing experience easier is to memorize your major scales. So I'll be assessing where you are with that when I see you. Well, I can't do that with you, YouTube watcher, because you don't come to me on a regular basis. But again, the sentiment is absolutely on target in my opinion. If you want to make playing the saxophone easy, memorize your major scales. It's so important, and it won't make things like slightly easier, it will make things like 50 times easier. I don't want to get into a rant about that. I can feel myself getting worked up. Right, was that useful for you? Awareness is everything. I really do hope it is. Please do let me know in the comments below if you found this useful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for subscribing. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.